everybody, it's Tamara from Prairietowngirl here on Etcetera's, and you may have noticed I have a new intro and I'm trying out a new camera setup, so let me know what you think down in the comments below, whichever way they are. I don't know, I have to figure that out. So I was just going to get started on a new journal, and I thought I might as well turn the camera on and let you see some things that I'm going to try. So I like to make my journals with old books, and I usually get them from thrift stores or book sales or what have you. This is a German book. The text inside is all in German, and I got it at a thrift store. They had all their German books for, I think, 25 cents or 50 cents. They had a little shelf full of them. Anyways, and the covers are they're actually quite lovely. They're in really good shape. I love this color, so I don't want to cover it all up like I normally do. I have already cut the insides out, and I have had people ask me how you do that, but really it's pretty simple. I just take a craft knife and I slit it down the side there, and I get both sides of the spine out. Just be careful not to go right through to the spine, obviously. The only time that changes is if I have a book where I really like the inside papers, and then I'll be a little more careful. And I think the next one I do is like that, so I'll try to remember to do a recording on that. Although that's pretty simple too and straightforward. So anyways, we've got our outside of our book ready to go, and I'm just going to leave that in there for right now because that's going to make this next step easier. I was just at the dollar store and I went to pick up a few little cleaning supplies. I'm trying to keep everything nice and clean during this time. Not that I don't normally, but extra clean, I should say. So I was getting extra wipes and that kind of thing. Anyways, of course, I had to walk through the craft aisle, and I saw this. Now, I don't know which way I'm going to do this video, so I don't know which way is right side up. But anyways, this is it says Decorative Surfaces Tattoo. And I was going to try tattoos anyways. I was going to pull out some of my old rub-on tattoos that you would normally put on your skin. But this is even better because they're so colorful, and this is what they're meant for. So I got this one with all of these pretty butterflies on it. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to cut my design, and I want this green butterfly. And it's a little more sticky on the back than it is on the front. Just get this out of here, and then I'll cut it a little bit better. There we go. So I'm going to put that on the front of my book. I think it's going to look gorgeous, and I might add some of this greenery. So let's cut that out and see how it looks. I'm not sure, because I know I want to do a big lace piece on the side. So let me just get this other one out. So I was thinking something like that. No, I don't think that's going to work, so I'm just going to stick with the butterfly. So just give it another little trim. And what I like to do before I lay anything down on my cover is sort of do a dry fit with my lace. So this is the lace it's just a crochet lace from the dollar store, and it's going to go on the spine. It's going to look like that. Ooh, I think it's going to look really pretty. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So this says, I think all you do is sit it on there and peel off the backing and apply the... Okay, so peel off the backing and apply the tacky side down. I've already done that. This is the backing. Tacky side down. Should probably make sure I'm centered. This is sort of a one-shot kind of thing. Let's see here. 6, 3. Oh, look at that. I'm pretty much right on. That's amazing. Okay, and then you use the applicator to press firmly in the center of the tattoo and apply pressure evenly, moving outward, and then carefully remove the plastic. So you get this little popsicle stick, basically. I'm just going to try my little spatula first, just because it's a little wider. I'll just get it down a little bit here, and then I'll go back with that fancy schmancy popsicle stick. This was great timing. Just try to... Yeah, no, it's not on at all. So we'll use the stick like they say. Okay, let's give it a shot and see what's going on. Ooh, just gonna go a little bit around the edges here. Make sure that's down nicely. Ooh, I can't believe it. It's looking pretty good. Wow, that's amazing. Usually stuff like this never works. It like comes off part of the way and not all the way. I don't know. Wow, that is really great. I am super happy with that, and I'm so shocked that it actually worked. Wow, and it's, yeah, the edges are all down nicely, and I don't have a lot of extra white around the outside. This is super cool. Yeah, if you can find it, you should try it out. I'm just gonna double check. No. Okay. I am tempted to just put butterflies all over the whole thing, but no, I won't do that. Let's just go with the original plan. Stick with the plan. Okay, so normally what I would do next is work on the inside cover. And so I'm just going to think for a moment to decide what I want to do, because I haven't even really thought it through. So there's lots of options, of course. You could just cover it with some fabric, cover it with some scrapbooking papers. So I've got some gift wrap. Once I cover it, do I put it in a pocket? What kind of pocket? I don't know. These are all the things that go through my head when I'm starting a journal. So I'm going to put a little thought into this, and I will be right back. Before I start, so I can take this out now. I want to put something in the spine so that this doesn't show through, because this will go up to there, but the signatures it'll peek through anyways, is all I'm saying. So there's a couple of things you can do. I like to use fabric sometimes, but I think I've got this little scrap of background paper. I'm just going to cut a strip off of here. It doesn't need to be quite that wide, actually. We'll go with that. And we'll lay this inside. Oh. So we're going to make this extra cute and pretty. So I'm using a scalloped edge because my paper isn't going to go down to the very bottom. It's going to be able to see a little bit of it, so I like that little scalloped edge there, and a little bit across the top as well. It's a little short now, so we'll just do it like that. And you have to remember, you're really not going to see any of this, hardly at all. It's just to make sure you don't see any rough edges. So I'm going to throw that on with a bit of Mod Podge. I like to use a wet glue because it's a little more flexible, and if I use my clear glue, it gets really hard and crunchy, and that's not fun on a book spine. Just make sure to go over the edge here. And I probably could cut down this edge a little bit. Oh, Katya's hungry. Must be almost 5 o'clock. But I'm just going to leave it. Okay. And so then just lay this in there. Make sure to get into all those into that little ridge. Okay, so I thought I had the perfect paper for the inside of this, and I cut it completely wrong. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I did that. So luckily I have a lot of gorgeous paper in my stash, so I just went and I looked at one of my latest recollections pads, and I've got all of these beautiful papers. Okay, so I've got my 2 pieces cut. Let's see if they fit this time. They look a little better. It should be fine. There we go. Ooh, that's much better. So this is nice because it's this little raspberry from the cover is going to peek through all around the edge, and that'll bring it all together. So I'm going to use Mod Podge again, and I'm going to glue these 2 in, and I think that's probably where I'm going to stop for today, but I will be back for you. I will be back in just a moment to do the next step. So it's been a couple days, and I think where we left off was, I think I finished the inside cover, I think. So now I'm just adding some signature covers, and if you go back to my last little bonus video from last week, I'm just using that same idea that we did in the pocketbook. And this time it's even easier. I don't have to make any measurements, hopefully. Yeah, so I found some gorgeous papers in my stash, and I'm just going to start by folding my 12 by 12 sheet in half. Giving it a nice little crease. And then I'm going to use this very scientific method of eyeballing and seeing how far up I come. And just make sure it's even on at least one side, and then it should fold straight across the rest of the way, theoretically. Yeah, perfect. It looks like it lined up perfectly. So you can just leave it there, but I like to do a little cut up the center. Take just a tiny bit off the inside edge and then round all my corners. And that just makes sure you have a little less bulk, and it makes it a little easier to open and close all of your signatures once you get all your pages in there. Okay. There we go. There's my third signature cover. And now the hard part is just deciding what order to put them in. I could probably put another signature, but I think I am going to, instead of stuffing it full right from the hop, I want to give this journal just a little room to breathe, and whoever uses it can stuff it with their own ephemera and memories and that type of thing. So there we go. So then the next stage is to fill each of the signatures with pages. And as soon as I charge my battery, I'll be back and I will show you how I do that. All right, got a little bit more battery power, so I think we can get through the next step. So what I normally do for my next step is to fill each of the signatures with some background pages. And these are just my own coffee or tea stain papers that I've photocopied and sort of played with on the computer and then printed. So I've got about, I think, 5 double-sided folded for each signature, and you can see they're not quite as big as the signature and that as the cover. That's totally okay, because that's one of the things I love about junk journals, is that you've got all different kinds of papers and envelopes and all kinds of things, so nothing has to be perfect, and that's the wonderful thing. So I'll just show you, I've got a mixture of light and dark. I've got one sort of bigger one that folds out, and then a couple more here. So that's what's sort of in each one, different variation of each. So then what I do, I want to have something more than that. So then I start to layer in my different, what I would sort of call specialty papers. So let's see what we've got here. So I usually have at least one either grid or accounting page in each signature, and I don't know, I probably don't want to put it next to this lined paper, so I'll put it maybe one over. There's no real science to any of this. So I've got an accounting page here. It's a nice cream and black, and I'm going to put that in a different signature because I don't want to get too repetitive within one signature. So we'll add that, and then I know I've got in my little stash here, I've got one more. This is an accounting page on green paper. It's single-sided, but that's okay. And I'm going to add that in to this one here somewhere. How about right there? Alright, so I've got some handmade paper that I made. I'll just fold that up, and it's very pretty. It's got a little bit of confetti, a little bit of sparkle in it. So we'll put that in the first batch. I've got a piece of tissue paper, or tracing paper, I guess it is. And I'm just going to hold on to that for a second because I think I know what I want to do with it. So I don't normally put in these big botanical prints, but I'm going to put one of each in each of these signatures because, like I said before, I want this just to be a really gorgeous, botanical, pretty journal. So I'm going to put it right near the front so that when you open it up, you see it pretty quickly. And I may need to go back and straighten some of the edges or cuts or that type of thing. Right now I'm just sort of figuring out what's going to be in each signature. And I want this pretty pink one in the second one here, I know that. I'll put that second. And then we'll add this last one in here somewhere. So what I'm doing is just breaking up all these background printed papers to add some texture and something different for each of them. Let's see here. I like to use these brown paper bags, and I've told you about these before. So I'm just going to figure out where it's going to go, and I think I'll put it in the middle signature, and I think I'll just put it right here against this plain green paper. So I'm going to go back when I'm doing all my decorating, and I'm going to cut this bottom edge so that it's open on both sides, and I'm going to decorate it as well. I've got a page. This is from a needlepoint book. That's pretty. So that will go, I think I'll throw it in this third one. And I also got this, I brought out this page. This is from, oh, I always forget the name of the artist, but it's a book about this artist, and there's all the paintings, and then some nice sort of narrative around, you know, community or friendship or love or whatever. So it's a little bright maybe for some of you, but I like to add that in. So I think I'll put it right in here. And I've got, now when I first started junk journaling, I always used the Country Register. I didn't have one junk journal without it. And I don't know why I've gotten away from using it. The Country Register is this sort of a sewing, crafting newspaper in my area, and it's got recipes, and you know, it's just full of all kinds of nice things. And so I will trim that up a little bit better. And it also has advertising, of course, on it, so I may go back and do some decorating on top of the advertising, because it doesn't bother me, but I don't need that. Let's see here, I've got a nice big doily. You can't have a pretty journal without a doily. So let's see here. I think I'm going to put it on top of this. Sure, why not? I've got some actual tea stain paper. So this is nice for the texture, to add one of these in here. We'll put it behind that botanical maybe. Yeah. It adds to the cream between the two there. So that's nice. And then, you know, at some point I just sort of check to see how I'm doing, making sure, although I do usually overfill my journals, but just making sure I'm not getting too crazy. because I still need to add all of my ephemera and things like that too. And I have a poem from a poetry book that I have. And I like not to get too random with it. I read through the poems and I try to find something that relates in some way, because if I give this away to somebody, they're going to come across this page and think like, what the heck is this all about? So so this one is called One Evening. I'm not sure who that's by. Oh, W.H. Auden. Not somebody I'm familiar with, but that's okay. So let's put that. I've got a lot going on in the first one. I usually find that my last signature is usually the one where I have to do a little bit more work because I haven't put much in it. So this is a single page, and what I will end up doing is finding another single page to go on the other side of the signature, and then I'll create a hinge to go between the two. Oh, I said I wanted to put this in here, this piece of tissue paper. So I want to probably put that in front of the botanical. So you can still see it through the page. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's good for now. So, but I do feel like it needs more. I might need to add another signature. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it'll be okay just with the 3. What I would normally do is probably start to decorate now. I'll get in there and start doing the decorating and adding some tuck spots and some pockets and that type of thing, and then I'll start to pull in some ephemera, and I'm going to try not to go too crazy on this one, but you know, I have a lot of ephemera that I've made, so I'll probably put a lot in there. We've got lots of pockets to fill in already. I'll probably sew these pockets down on each side. And then after that, I will sew each of my signatures into the spine. And I have a video from a little while ago where I showed you how I used my my book cradle to do that. And then once the signatures are in, I will get my closure on there and add my lace. I'll glue my lace on, and I think my closure is just going to be a piece of lace that goes right across. So I think I'm going to end this video here for today, but come back soon because I will finish decorating and finishing up this one, and I'll do a full flip through for you then. Okay? So I hope that gives you some ideas on how to get started, especially if you're a beginner and you're nervous about cutting up an old book or trying something different. Try out these great tattoos, craft tattoos. They're awesome. I loved it. And I'm sure you'll see more of these in my journal soon. So anyways, have a great day and keep busy and stay healthy, and I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.